Hey everybody, how's it going today? We've got some really great content today that we're going to be going through, and some things that I've actually just recently experienced that we're going to be talking about specifically. And I am really excited to be able to share this information with you because, when I'm actually able to go through the process of these specific things that happened to me and then to be able to share that here on the podcast, it's really exciting because I actually am going through it myself and can then show you how to go through it, but maybe deal with it more effectively, whatever the situation is. So just recently I had done an interview and I thought it was pretty good, right? I thought it was something that, was just okay. I had been asked to be on a show as a guest and talk about some very important personal things to me. And I went back and I looked at it and I was like, you know, I probably could have stepped things up just a little bit there. I think there's a couple of things that I could have done a little bit differently. And, lately I've just been kind of swamped with my time, just delegating, taking care of my newborn, taking care of my kids, of course, and managing my household, doing all the things that mommies do, right? And then, of course, running a business and making sure that everything's going effectively with that. So looking back, there are some adjustments that I definitely wanted to make. And I looked at just the way that I was speaking, just my the way that I was vocalizing everything, and my tone and inflection of my voice, and just the way that I was putting myself out there. I did not feel like that was Genesis to the best of her ability, right? I felt like that there was definitely something missing there. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, and how you can really, really show up for something and be really, truly effective at that. Because, we can get involved in so many different things, and then we're just halfway doing all of those things, right? We're not actually doing each task to the fullest capacity of how it can be done. And, when we get involved in too many things, it's so easy to do today. It's so easy to get into a situation where you're saying yes to literally everything. And we can't do that. We have to be able to prioritize our time. So, when you're saying yes and yes and yes and yes, and especially when they're big things like, going and getting an interview done, and taking the time to really promote yourself, and putting yourself out there, you want to make sure that you're ready for that, right? So I wanted to talk about 3 key tips today. 3 key tips that we're going to be going through and just understanding them a little bit more thoroughly, and how we can better prepare ourselves to be the most effective when we're really showing up for something. So whatever that may be for you, showing up for work, showing up to do an interview like I did, doing a sales call, we're trying to be more prepared. I'm trying to help you to be more prepared for whatever it is that you're doing, so that you can get the greatest impact and greatest result out of what you're doing. Okay? So number 1 is your mindset. You want to have the right mindset in whatever it is that you're doing. So go into it fully geared in and focused in whatever that situation is that you're focusing on. Mindset is one of the most important things to be working on and overcoming constantly, because our mind can tell us a lot of different things about ourselves. Our mind can tell us that we aren't good enough, that we are self-conscious about this situation because we're not, maybe at a level that somebody else is at, that, we're speaking to someone else that's superior to us, that we're not ready for this, even if we feel like we are. So overcoming those mindset issues are the number 1 key to really being effective at what we're doing. So when you start feeling those doubts, you start feeling like they're consuming you and it's overcoming you, you need to just stop and restart and say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to be able to get through this situation without my mind telling me how I'm supposed to be, because you have the ability to be able to control that. And we can have these little nagging comments in our head that continue if we don't put a stop to them. So in order to do that, we have to be constantly ridding ourselves of that. And one of the best ways to work on your mindset is to have a gratitude journal and talk to yourself by writing those affirmations out about what you know about yourself and what that is to you, what you mean to yourself. And that is that you are completely capable, that you are able to do whatever it is that you are setting out to do that day. And you can have an affirmation journal that you write out before you even do something. So perhaps you are just, you're setting out to do something just for that day. There's a task that needs to be completed. Go ahead and write out those affirmations before you go out and actually do it, because that's really going to help you to get that clarity and help you to be focused on the right things. Okay. And number 2 is attitude. So making sure that you're waking up with the right attitude and you are in fact focused on whatever it is at hand, such as the mindset, but also tying your emotions into it. So what do you want to see as the outcome? How do you want that to make you feel? And I feel like when you tie your emotions into the task at hand, it really helps you to then be happier, be more content, be more rest assured, peaceful, excited. These all coincide with the attitude, because you want to be able to be positive when you go in to do this important task that needs to be completed. You want to make sure that you are ready, you're happy, you're engaged, you are fully there, and you are present. So if you have a bad and negative attitude, then that's going to cause also some other issues in order for you to be prevented from fully showing up. Number 3 is preparation. So with any type of important opportunity that you have right in front of you, you definitely want to be prepared. Be as prepared as you possibly can. And if that means taking notes and going over whatever it is that needs to be done, if that means going through the process over and over and over again, then that's what you need to do in order to be fully ready to give it your all. And that's, again, really showing up for a situation. You want to be on 100%. And another very important point that you have to remember is that sometimes, even after going through your mindset strategies, your attitude, your preparation, after going through all of that, you are still not ready for it. And this is not as common as just the lack of not putting those other objective points into place. But when you are not ready, you're not completely there, you're tired, you're exhausted. It's okay some of the time to reschedule and to just, talk to that person, whatever that commitment is, and say, you know what, I can't do this today. This is not going to work for me. I'm not all here. I need to take some time for rest. I need a little extra time to make sure that I am fully prepared for it. So it's very, very important to make sure that you are completely 100% whole and all there, because excuse me, if you cannot be there 100%, you're not going to be able to give 100%, right? You're going to be able to give maybe 50%, maybe 80%, but you're going to look back and you're going to say, you know what, I wish I would have just done a little bit more ahead of time so that I could have had a better outcome. And that's what happened to me just recently. And I'm looking at that situation and I'm saying, I wish I would have just put a little bit more preparation and energy into this situation, but I wasn't completely mentally there. And that was part of it. That was part of it that led me to the point of the result that I got. So what you put in is going to be equivalent to what you get out of it. So if you're not putting any energy into it to prepare, to have the right attitudes, right? Have the right mindset, and to give yourself time to be fully present, you're not going to get those results that you want. So you want to be able to make sure that you are ready to go and that you feel completely good and confident. And I'm not saying that, when, for example, you show up for a speaking engagement, you're not going to be nervous or feel some hesitations, because that's just normal. Whenever we do something new and exciting and challenging, it's going to be a little bit difficult initially to go forward and take that next step and take that leap of faith to try something. So I'm not in any way saying that you're not going to have, nervousness and anxiety and overwhelm, because you probably will, especially if you're doing something new. But if you are prepared in the best way that you can be, and you have the right attitude, and you go in there with a mindset saying, you know what, I am going to do the best that I possibly can, and I'm completely focused on what I'm doing, then you're going to get a much better result. Okay. So I hope that was some great information for you today. I just, when I go through these things, it can be really difficult at the time, and I can say to myself, why am I going through this? But you know what? Every time I do, I realize that it's another opportunity for me to share this information with you, because it can certainly be applicable to some other individuals that have gone through the things that are similar. So I encourage you today that if you're experiencing this, or you have experienced this in the past, just to take a little bit of extra time to do some self-care and to make sure that you are where you need to be, and that you can feel good about doing that next great task and pursue that next great opportunity. So have a great day today. You go enjoy yourselves, and I love you. I will see you next week.